For most forms of entertainment, 2020 has been absolutely hammering. 2020 has probably single-handedly, and by that I mean the instances which have occurred in 2020, may have taken out cinemas worldwide for a prolonged period of time. I don't know if cinema going is ever going to get back to the level it was just before this situation. Because when you look at 2019 and 2018 and 2017, we had some of the biggest movies in history, some of the highest grossing films ever, some of the most watched movies of all time that came out in those last couple of years. And people were going to the cinema a lot. Cinema prices had come down ticket-wise across a lot of countries. And now we're in a position where, well, I don't know if it's going to get back to that. But the crazy thing is, there's been another form of medium that has just taken over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Yeah, it's been that long now. That's insane, but it really has been that long since this whole situation started. I'm not talking about 2020, but the preceding events that happened after that. Not good. Hey, NarendraTheComic here. Right now we are indeed going to be talking about video games. Just very quickly, it's something which I grew up with once I got past the age of like 6 or 7 when we were allowed to have that type of stuff in my household. But, you know, video games have genuinely popped off more than they have done in a very long time over the last 6 months. And it came in stages. There have been waves of this, alright? While there have been some huge releases that have come out, to name a few, Ghost of Tsushima, bloody hell, the Final Fantasy remake that came out, I guess, at the beginning of the year now. There's been a lot of very, very popular games. I mean, The Last of Us 2 was apparently absolutely disgusting, and it made people fall out of love with that franchise. But those aren't the games I'm talking about here. The games I'm talking about are the online multiplayer games. It's not even the MMORPG type games of old. It's things like Call of Duty. When you look at the year and you look at where Call of Duty was at the beginning of the year with Warzone, it wasn't really popping off in the same way it was in like June, July time. It really found a big audience. I'm someone who never played Call of Duty when I was younger because we weren't allowed fighting games at all. Blood, guns, war, that type of stuff wasn't allowed. But now I find that this type of game and the battle royale nature of it, it's like an adult version of Fortnite. And I think that's probably why a lot of people sort of clung to it more so than PUBG, and why it has found a real base and user base. I still play it for about 30 minutes a day, probably. Yes, probably a waste of my time. I'm a little ashamed to say this, but maybe even an hour a day on some days. And that's something which I've been doing for about 4 or 5 months now. But the amazing thing is, that is not the only game which has had a huge increase in player base. There was also Animal Crossing, which completely took the world by storm, got a new generation of people who'd never played video games ever to be like, yeah, I want to buy a Nintendo Switch, which completely was sold out across every single market in the world. They didn't produce enough of them come the beginning of the year. It was only about a month ago I saw them being advertised again because they got new stock in. So Nintendo has made an absolute killing this year with games like Animal Crossing, which really found a new user base of its own entirely. And that's just one aspect. And then just a few months ago, Fall Guys became a huge game for about 6 weeks, 8 weeks. It sort of bubbled up. It was one of those natural ones. When you look at Call of Duty, when you look at Animal Crossing, these are big boy names, these are big players. But Fall Guys was not by any means. It sort of just bubbled up out of nowhere and became a behemoth in a very short period of time. Now, I'm not someone who's played Animal Crossing, but I've played Call of Duty and I've played Fall Guys. And they are very, very fun games. Fall Guys is more addictive. Like, you're playing it and you're like, I should probably stop now. But if you don't get to the point you want to get to, or you don't have a good outing in the game, you sort of feel like you're hard done by. You feel like you've done shit and you need to play another game. You need to go another round to try and get to a better level. So Fall Guys really, really did well. And now the game come the end of the year is Among Us. Something which I haven't played yet, but I've watched a couple live streams of. And I've been aware of it for about a month now. But I'll be honest, this sounds nuts. I don't have like 10 people to play that game with, alright? I just don't. That's too many people. And I know you can play it with randomers, I think, but it's the type of game which you want to just bust out with 10 people. And most people, I feel, don't have 10 people. Among Us is something which I want to play. Maybe I will play by the end of the year. But if you look at these games, they're very varied. It's not like they're all the same type of game. There's a more adult version of a Battle Royale game. Then there's Animal Crossing, which is very PG. It's very much for everyone, that type of game. And then Among Us is just this weird Cluedo. It's like Cluedo in real life. I remember playing a game like this in an acting class once. It was very similar to this game. And it's like, who's the killer? And no one knows who the killer is bar the killer. And the killer's going around killing people. And the idea is you have to figure out who the killer is. It's just like the game. But everyone has their eyes closed and are walking about with their eyes closed. Apart from the killer, who goes and picks someone who they eliminate from the game. And this is very similar in style to that. It's like Cluedo and that weird game put together. And then you have that type of product of Among Us, which is really, really cool and interesting. Something I definitely want to play at one point or another. And with Fall Guys, it's like I don't even know how I'd classify that type of game. I really don't know. The others are very regimented in the way they are. This one, I just don't know where to put Fall Guys. It's a very easy to play, addictive type of game. But 2020 has been a bad year for a lot of things. But it's been a pretty good year for video games. And I'm not sure most people would have been thinking, I'm gonna buy a Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna buy a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One at the start of the year. Come March time, they're like, I'm at home for 3 months. I guess I'm getting into video games, lads. And that is sort of the tale of 2020 in a lot of ways. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then I don't know. One of the little creatures from Fall Guys is gonna come after you. You don't want that. They'll jump on you and sit on you. You don't want that. You really don't, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great. I'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Yep, been doing it every day for over 2 years now. We ain't stopping. What's that? No stopping until we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content. Because hashtag never not here. Never not here. I say it every day because there's a video every day, and hence the cycle is fulfilled, the prophecy is fulfilled. And we're never not here because there is indeed a video every single day, and it is quality shitty content. I say quality shitty content, but I also know that it is bakwas. And if you don't know what bakwas means nonsense in Punjabi. And I know my content is bakwas. I know it's nonsense, but I love it. I love just chatting shit. Just spitting, just going off, going on tangents, chatting nonsense. And that is what we do here. So see you tomorrow. Some more bakwas, some more nonsense incoming in the next 24 hours. See you then. Skadoosh.